What's good, YouTube? It's BigMontSportsTalk. We're back here again with another video. And today's video, we're here to talk about this whole Fourth and South, which is Leonard Fournette's and Jarvis Landry podcast with Speakeasy, or basically Emmanuel Acho, or how Fournette says is Ho. Basically, if you didn't know, right now they're in a little podcast disagreement and beef, and basically I'm here just giving my opinions on it. Basically, if you don't know who Leonard Fournette and Jarvis Landry is, Leonard Fournette, he was a top pick in the NFL draft. He was a running back for LSU, and same as Jarvis Landry, he was a receiver for LSU. I think he went in like the third round. But they were really good football players, and basically it started because they was talking about Steven Stefanski, and this is what Jarvis Landry basically said about Stefanski. And mind you, he played with Stefanski. I think the years he won uh Player of the Year when he was on Cleveland. Here it goes.
You know, picking on the coach, what's his name again?
Kevin Stefanski.
That shit bothers me, right? You know, even the
Yeah.
shit he had going on with Shador, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you have a guy there that could be your franchise maker, that can change the organization, you know, and I'm not sure what was going on in his brain or why he didn't want to play him or whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter. But I have a problem with coaches like that. Like, to me, his resume is not good to me at all. Just being real.
Yeah.
And he gets another shot at coaching where, you know, it was guys like me and you who have great ass resumes, right? And didn't get another shot
At playing.
or not playing at all. So when I see shit like that, man, that shit had me hot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he'd definitely be one of those coaches I would not ever want to play for.
Ever.
Ever.
Man, I would say, you know what? I would say, like, being in Cleveland and playing there, you know, he was cool to be around. It's like you say, it's like it just almost felt like, you know, as much as he knew what he was doing, right, he really maybe didn't, right? And I think that, like, sometimes, you know, some of these coaches or most of these coaches get put in a position too soon, right?
True.
You know, they have success as a position coach, right? And then they get thrown into this head coaching role where, you know, you expect most of these coaches that's younger to be more personable, right? More relatable with their players. Yeah. And in most cases, it just doesn't work out that way, right? And I know, like, my time in Cleveland, especially in the beginning, man, it was great. Like, he ended up winning Coach of the Year. You know, we ended up going to the playoffs. And then for some reason, then after, bro, it just kind of felt like, you know, the spark between the connection between the players and the coaches just kind of started to dim out, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if he'd be a great coach in the league, right? But I do think he knows a lot about offense, right? I think, you know, I don't know how much he is involved into the analytical side of things, but I know in Cleveland that was a huge part. So, you know, I think that played a part in some of the decisions that he may have been forced to make, even with the Shador Sanders thing, right? Yeah. Either forced to make or persuaded to make, you know what I mean? Yeah. But we'll see, right? Last year in Cleveland, you know, he's a coach of the year. I think he's 2-time coach of the year, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, Atlanta will be another good indicator about, you know, where his, you know, coaching career is headed, you know, because that team as well is a team that's struggling, need to find somebody to fill that head coaching position and that quarterback position too.
You see, he didn't say nothing bad, and the funny thing about it is, anytime you mention Stefanski, boy, Acho, Emmanuel Acho, that boy like Candyman, boy. You mentioned Steven Stefanski name 3 times, he popping up. Basically, that's all they said about Stefanski, and this is Acho's response.
You say that Shador can be a franchise change maker, and you give him the benefit of the doubt. But the 2-time Coach of the Year resume, not good at all. Leonard Fournette was a dog. Jarvis Landry, a really good player. To my knowledge, they don't have any OPOYs. To my knowledge, they don't have any all first-team All-Pros. I don't know enough about him to know his name. He's the best thing the Browns have seen since you were born, Leonard Fournette. That is his resume. So to me, you have to learn the man's resume before you try to speak ill on the man.
As you see, he basically was taking a dig at him, talking about they ain't won offensive player of the years and stuff like that. So this is their response to him.
We got to get straight into this business right now. Mr. Emmanuel Echo. Since you see I messed up a lot of names, I didn't know his name. Brother, why you come messing with the Fourth and South boys?
I don't know. He's trying to get it popping, huh?
Listen, I'm trying to just keep my mind clear. Emmanuel Echo. Was he a starter?
No, he wasn't a starter at all.
Oh, he was a bench player. Oh, he started 2 games.
In his career?
Out of every NFL analyst they have, he has the weakest resume. That's our last time even speaking about you on here, but I had to let you know, like, we not them. You say, oh, Jarvis had a good career, Leonard was a dog. Jarvis was a dog. Leonard, yes, was a dog. Emmanuel was ass. So listen, brother, what give you the kahunas to even mention us?
As you see, they was clowning, boy. And basically, he responded again last night to the podcast, and here goes. This is what he said.
Obviously, my career, oh, not good at all. Bum, backup, all the things. But I was a 6th round pick. I probably should have been. Leonard Fournette won a Super Bowl. I'm happy for him. But why you got a podcast in your hand? Why ain't you got a football in your hand? Because 8 running backs drafted after Leonard Fournette were still in the league last year. Top 5 running back. Adrian Peterson was a top 5 running back. LaDainian Thompson was a top 5 running back. So let's not talk about careers. Because if we're being honest, based on where we were drafted, we both underwhelmed in the NFL. Let's talk about the takes. The takes say that Kevin Stefanski was the best thing that happened to the Cleveland Browns. The takes say that Kevin Stefanski was really good when he had a good quarterback, going to the playoffs and winning a playoff game. The takes were accurate. The last time you were born, Leonard Fournette, the Browns have not seen a coach better than Kevin Stefanski. That is the take. You start talking about credentials, there's no need to talk about credentials. I didn't have a good NFL career. But we start talking about credentials, I got to start mentioning the fact that Samaje Perine drafted after you, still in the league. Aaron Jones undrafted after you, still in the league. Christian McCaffrey drafted after you, still in the league. I got to start mentioning Austin Eckler drafted after you, still in the league. I got to start mentioning a bunch of stuff if we start talking about ball. Let's not talk about ball. Underwhelming career. Hi, that's me. That's why I moved on into another career. But now you've moved into another career. So now we got to start talking about takes. And the fact of the matter is, learn somebody's name before you speak on them. That's the bare minimum into having a conversation, is knowing somebody's name. It's Acho, by the way. That's the bare minimum having a conversation. I do not think it is uncalled for to be like, hey, yo, if you don't know a dude's name, you can't speak on the man.
And my whole opinion on this thing, I ain't gonna lie, I'm with Fournette and them. One, they didn't even say nothing bad about Stefanski. They just said he basically lost the locker room. And how is it that quarterback coaches that play bad or coach bad, they get multiple chances versus players that played good and they don't get a chance? Which again, I don't see nothing wrong with that. With what he said, I think what he said was perfectly fine. Um, and with Ocho, I think with Ocho, I don't got a problem with Ocho basically giving his opinions on stuff, but it's crazy how you take a shot at them for not winning Offensive Player of the Year, but you was a bench player, big dog. You only got 2 starts, and then you get defensive when they play, because you see they didn't even play the full clip. Boy, he cut that clip off because it was clowning them for it. When he was reacting to it, and my whole thing with Acho is you can't take shots at people NFL careers, and then when they take a shot back at your career, you try to go this whole Stephen A. Smith monologue about in my world I'm this and yada yada. Again, your bigger sports casting was football. I agree with that, but you can't take shots at people careers and then get butt hurt or and your feelings when people take a shot back at your career. Uh, to me, that's crazy. That's like me. I'm a big dude. If I'm a big dude, I can't go around calling people fat and I end up being bigger than the dude. That look crazy. I'm just saying. So it's like you can't do all that talking and taking shots of their careers, and when they start take one back, it's all this sensitive stuff. And And also, only thing I don't like about uh Emmanuel Acho is, again, I agree with him. It don't matter what you are. You should be able to give your opinions on stuff. Like if you ain't played in the football, you should be. If you ain't played in the NFL, you should be able to give your opinions on the NFL. I don't think it's, if you ain't played or you're not good, you shouldn't be able to talk about it. I don't think that's true. Because if you go look at a lot of the greatest coaches of all time, they never played the sport of football. But again, they're one of the best coaches of all time. So I don't agree with that. But only thing I don't like about Acho is how he tried to gas up like the Speak Easy. Again, it's a good podcast with him, Shady, Care Bear, and all of them on there. But I don't like how he tried to gas up like he like he the man in this lane and he did all this. But if we're going off of platforms, literally your platform was built already for you because you got it from FS Sports. You see what I'm saying? So it's like you taking shots at them about they're in your lane now when they're doing stuff, but I guarantee you they're probably going to end up passing you when they had to start from ground zero. Nightcap had to start from ground zero and they built the way up. Gills Arena started from ground zero and they built the way up. You see what I'm saying? And they ain't even talking like they got one of the biggest sports channels out of all of them versus you, who literally got a channel that almost had like 1 million views. So again, it's like you can't do that big dog stuff if you this is my lane. I've been doing this, but your proof of fame is the YouTube channel that FS1 gave you after all that controversy. Again, it's nothing against Ocho or Acho. It's nothing against him. Again, I think he does great. What he does is just that's the only thing I don't like about Acho and that whole situation. So oh yeah, and also with this Emmanuel Ocho and Leonard Fournette thing. I don't know why people are shocked that they're deciding to talk after their career. Uh, because when has a player ever spoke bad about the organization they was playing for during the time they were playing? Like let's keep it real. The Cleveland Browns just was. We could all see that Steven Stefanski was sabotaging Shador. Like what? The man was barely wanting to play him. Dude, his play call sheet. Now again, this is my first time hearing this. Again, I played high school, pee wee, college. I didn't make it to the pros, but I played all these levels, and I ain't never heard of a player having in the wrong call sheet. Like literally, they literally go over this multiple times during the week before the game. Make sure you got the right call sheet. So for him to go out there with the wrong call sheet should tell you something right there. And look at Shador. He ain't spoke bad about Stefanski. He's still trying to make it seem like they had an okay relationship when they was there, when we all know it wasn't true. The player never shits on the organization or the coach while they're playing there. Once they leave, they may take a shot, or once they retire, they may do it. So now people all of a sudden surprised, like, why is Jarvis Landry talking about Stefanski now? It's probably because he's not in the NFL no more. Duh, you can talk about your experiences there now. You're not going to talk about Stefanski when you're playing for the team. All that's going to do is just cause more friction and more headlines and more stuff you got to worry about besides just the game of football. So again, I I I don't know why people making that a big deal, but yeah, who do you think is in the wrong? Leonard Leonard Fournette or Emmanuel Acho? Uh, y'all heard my answer. I said Acho, boy. You can't take shots at people, then when they take shots back at you, you get all sensitive, boy. Shit never brought up careers. I don't know why you brought up careers in the.